gather this afternoon. Compassionate companion of our journey, we stand today once again on the edge. It is the edge because we cannot see what is beyond us or where we may end up this coming year. The only thing we know for sure is that our encounter with one another this year will change us. We will not be the same. In the excitement of that reality, we celebrate today. We give thanks for the unlimited possibilities that lie open before us. Help us to listen to the subtleness of your voice, caring for and directing us into the future. Accompanied by the anxieties that tend to be the companions of newness and change, we gather as well. Help us to let go of that which would hold us back or make us fearful, so that we might embrace the possibilities and delight in the diversity we will encounter in the year ahead. As we learn and as we grow, shape us into a community of compassion, ready to engage our world with hope and courage. Amen.
Please be seated. Good to have everybody here, and for the class of 2018, doesn't it seem like you were just here just a few hours ago? And what did you chant? We are 18. Is Dan Cook-Hoffman in the room? There's Dan Cook-Hoffman around. He's in the back. Dan, was that good enough? Where's Dan? Okay, we are 18. We are 18. That's not still, one more time. We are 18. Thank you. You guys were so on it last night. Man. Good to have you here again. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Reverend Witkowski, for that prayer. And welcome to this 2014 Convocation, a day in which we officially begin Juniata's 139th academic year, as well as greet all of you. Roughly 446 new Juniatians that make up the class of 2018. This class, and I failed to mention yesterday, is one of the largest freshman classes that Juniata has ever seen. The second largest, as a matter of fact. And today we honor and celebrate your choice in us. And after meeting so many of them already, I'm confident that we'll be enriched by their curiosity, strengthened by their many talents, and inspired by their youthful spirit. Before I begin, so I have a bow tie on for the very first time ever in my history. And I want to give a shout out to Evan Brock. Where is Evan, if I can sort of see? Evan, stand up. So Evan came to my office this afternoon, and at 2:30 put this around me, and we worked for about 10 minutes, and I can tell you factually, I failed that exam of learning how to tie the bow tie. So he had to finish the task, and I am here to tell you, and wearing on your convocation my first ever bow tie to celebrate what? National Bow Tie Day. So without declaring that we should, as an institution, somehow celebrate from this day forward, maybe we can do that. And is Dr. Jill Keeney in the room? Dr. Jill Keeney is wearing her bow tie today. Dr. Keeney, thanks so much for inspiring me and others to do the same. So Evan Brock, thank you very much. So together with these new students, these 446 new students, all of us, faculty, staff, students, embark on another year of tradition, another year of opportunity, another year of challenge, and most importantly, another year of learning. And we do that together. We could not do that without our distinguished faculty, a group of scholars, I will tell you, that are intensely committed to fostering this environment of learning. So please join me, students and other staff, in recognizing and thanking the Juniata faculty. Students, as I was reflecting on the start of this year, as I did last year, my first, thinking about, more specifically, about expectations of you and of us as a community, I have similar thoughts as I did last year that are centered around three particular items, and they're very brief. First, as a community of educated men and women, it is my sincere hope that you treat one another with simple kindness, respect, with compassion, grace, and yes, love. Like a typical family, we will occasionally argue, but at the end of the day, we are here to support one another. Like our founders back in April of 1876, we must believe that there is a greater good that will come from this commitment and service to one another to this place that we call home. Second, I encourage you to take the time, as many of you already have, is to walk the campus and explore the buildings. Read and know the history of this remarkable institution. Let the texture of this place touch you. And while it's probably hard, I know right now, to comprehend in your first week and your first days, that you are now part of the narrative here. You are part of the history of this great college. Embrace it. Appreciate it. And while you forever be a part of this place, upon your graduation, the doors of this undergraduate experience will close too quickly. Savor the time and appreciate the opportunity that is before you. Finally, as a community of learners, we are all here to grow. Intellectually, spiritually, socially, emotionally. But this growth doesn't just happen. You need to feed it, you need to nurture it, and by doing so, you need to attend the events that this institution will offer. Art exhibits, theater productions, religious services, student research, athletic events, everything that you'll see on that calendar. You cannot do it all, but do a lot of it. It will enrich you. Make time to study abroad. Exercise not just your body, but exercise your mind in ways that you thought not possible. You indeed chose a liberal arts environment, and ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to extract all that it offers. I intend to work with you, individually and collectively, in making sure your Juniata experience is an extraordinary one. I will make every attempt to be visible and accessible to you. You deserve and should certainly expect that from your president. So as we embark on this new year together, I welcome you as a class of 2018. Welcome.
How are you? It's nice to see you again. President Troha, members of the Platform Party, faculty, staff, and especially all of you students of the class of 2018. It is my pleasure to be here today to introduce to you our speaker, Dr. Jennifer Streb. Dr. Streb, an associate professor of art, received the Henry H. of the class of 57 and Joan R. Gibble Award for Teaching Excellence in the spring of 2014. Dr. Streb came to Juniata in 2005 as an assistant professor of art history. She earned her bachelor's degree in business administration from Juniata College and went on to earn her master's degree and her PhD in art history from Penn State University. She was promoted to associate professor at Juniata in 2012, and in addition to teaching courses in art history and museum studies, she is the curator of the Juniata College Museum of Art, and she serves currently as the chair of the Department of Art and Art History. She has taken interdisciplinary education to heart here at Juniata, and she currently teaches several interdisciplinary colloquial courses with her colleagues in chemistry, biology, and English. She's also enhanced Juniata's academic reputation across the country by developing a groundbreaking art exhibit on the influential American artist Minna Citrin. Dr. Streb wrote the 2012 exhibition catalog, Minna Citrin, The Uncharted Course from Realism to Abstraction, for this retrospective exhibit of the artist's work. This exhibit debuted at Juniata in 2012 and has now traveled to several other museums, including Lebanon Valley College in Pennsylvania, Gustavus Adolphus College in Minnesota, as well as the museum at Texas A&M and the Georgia Museum of Art. It's currently on display in Asheville, North Carolina. Dr. Streb has written catalog essays for exhibits on Citrin in 2005, and she also published an article on Citrin's Femininity series in the Women's Art Journal. Dr. Streb has given numerous gallery talks, including talks at Penn State's Palmer Museum of Art, Gettysburg College, and the Southern Alleghenies Museum of Art. In addition, she has published catalog entries for Pittsburgh artist Henry Kerner. This summer, she continued her research into Juniata's portrait miniature collection as a research fellow at the Winterthur Museum in Wilmington, Delaware. Currently, she and Dr. Richard Hark of the Chemistry Department are collaborating in research that analyzes the Juniata Museum's collection of portrait miniatures. Please join me in welcoming the 2014 winner of the Gibble Award for Distinguished Teaching, Dr. Jennifer Streb.
Thank you. President Troha, platform party, faculty, staff, friends, please join me in welcoming Provost Bowen, new faculty and staff, and of course, the class of 2018 into the Juniata family. Okay, so how many of you are excited to be here today? Let's see your hands, raise them, let's go. Faculty, staff, come on. There we go, all right. Next question. How many people are nervous? Oh, don't be afraid, raise your hand. Come on, it's all right. It's fine, I'm nervous too. I'm an art historian. I teach in a classroom with the lights down and pictures behind me. I'm standing here under the spotlights and you're all staring at me. I'm a little nervous, but it's okay. A little nerves in a situation like this is a good thing. So I'm just going to take a deep breath and roll with it. At Opening Convocation, the speaker is supposed to provide words of wisdom to the incoming freshman class. When I found out I had to give this speech this year, I was a little bit apprehensive because the bar for these things has been set pretty high recently. I mean, in May, Dr. Tootin led a group of faculty in song on the platform, and last August, Professors Benson and Powell led everyone on a whole choose your own adventure thing. So my first thought was, geez, how do I top that? But Professors Muth and Prill didn't want to do any kind of performance art, so I had to go back to the drawing board. My next instinct was to craft a speech telling you about all the things I learned when I was a student at Juniata. Way back when, I was a quiet, shy student, absolutely terrified of speaking in public, probably sitting in those same seats excited and nervous about starting my journey through college. I thought, I could tell you about the classes I took, the professors I worked with, my study abroad trip to Japan, pig roast, senior week, oh, maybe not those. But anyway, all within the context of providing words of wisdom that you probably just forget as soon as you left the auditorium. But a speech like that is about me, and today, it's about you. So instead, I'm going to give you some tools and just a little bit of advice to help you succeed. Not just here at Juniata during the next 4 years, but as you move out into the world beyond this campus. You may have looked at the program and seen the title of this talk, Be Present and Breathe, and found yourself wondering what it might be about. I chose this title because I think the two pieces of advice it suggests are things that we take for granted, things that we don't do often enough. Take breathing, for example. Something we all do, something we have to do to stay alive, but how often do you think about breathing? Well, maybe after your third trip trying to find me on the 4th floor of Goodhall and you find yourself feeling out of shape, maybe. Maybe after a 100-yard dash at football or track practice. But beyond that, how often do you sit down and focus on the air moving in and out of your lungs? I'm guessing not very often. Most of us take the life-giving force of our breath completely for granted. Breathing is the simplest, most natural thing in the world, but it's not easy. That said, there are some really good physical reasons for us to take some time to stop and breathe. Slow, focused breathing can calm your nerves, ease your anxiety and tension, lower your blood pressure. All good things when you're in college, especially when you're feeling stressed out around midterms or finals, or when you're standing in front of a whole auditorium of people staring at you under the bright lights. So, since breathing is good for you, I thought it'd be worthwhile to take a couple minutes to focus on it. So I want you all to do something. I want you all to sit nice and tall in your chairs. Uncross your legs, uncross your ankles, you too, President Troha. Now close your eyes. I don't want you looking at me. Now, seriously, close your eyes. I promise I'm not going to have Chad drop balloons and confetti from the ceiling. Just close your eyes and notice your breath. Just notice where you are right now. Is your breath shallow? Is it deep? Is it fast? Is it slow? Now, keeping your eyes closed, place your hands on your belly, right around your belly button. Notice the expansion and contraction of your belly as your diaphragm moves up and down with each breath. Just notice that. In a world when we're constantly running from one class or meeting to the next, we're always connected to our smartphones, we're always feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work we have to do each day, we find ourselves feeling rushed. When we feel rushed, or even nervous, our breath tends to be shallow. And when our breath is shallow, we're not breathing fully. So let's take a couple minutes to practice breathing fully. On the next inhalation you take through your nose, go really, really slow. Breathe the whole way down into your belly and feel that expansion. And slowly as you inhale, release the air in your lungs with a long, even exhale. Try that again. Notice how the movement of your belly and your whole torso changes as it expands to make room for your lungs as they fill with air. Inhale and exhale. Notice that as you focus on your breathing into the belly, your breath also slows down. You can slow your breath down even more by counting. So on our next inhale, let's inhale to the count of 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Try that again. If we had more time, we could extend the counting to 6, then maybe 8 or even 10. But this is something I'll let you practice on your own time. I only have 10 minutes up here. So open your eyes, release your hands, and notice how you feel. Do you feel calmer, less nervous, more clear-headed? Are you thinking this lady's crazy? I'm guessing some of you feel calmer. So why do I recommend that you practice this breathing technique? It's simple. College is hard. Now, I heard a gasp from these two. And I'm sure that they, and maybe many of you, are sitting there thinking, oh my God, first breathing exercises, now this, what is this woman doing? But I'm not telling you that college is hard to scare you. I'm telling you that because it's a good thing. The things in life that are difficult are the things that challenge us. And if you didn't want to be challenged and didn't want to learn, you wouldn't be here. So what do you think I'm going to suggest you do in the face of all the challenges you're going to encounter during the next 4 years? Breathe, exactly. Long, slow, deep breaths. Which leads to the other part of this speech's title, be present. This piece of advice can simply mean showing up. You have to be present in class if you want a good grade. That's only a part of it. You have to do other things too, but still. And then of course there's the old sports cliche. You have to be, like 90% of winning is just showing up. You can't win the game if you're not present on the field, right? But there are other ways of being present too. And what I'm referring to is being present in the moment. Being aware of what's going on at a specific moment in time. And you know what? Being present in this way is directly connected to that breathing exercise we just did. When you consciously slow down the breath, you focus on the present moment. You forget the past. You stop agonizing over the answers you just wrote on your organic chemistry exam. And you forget, even if for a moment, the stresses of the future and that next paper you have to write for your CWS class. When you slow down your breath, you clear your mind, and you actually end up being more focused when you get back to work. So if you take a couple of minutes to stop and breathe, you're probably going to write a better paper. So you might want to keep that in mind. So breathe and be present are my 2 main pieces of advice for today. But I have one more that's kind of related. Don't be afraid of change. Now, I can see those of you on this side of the room who know me well trying to stifle a little laugh, thinking this is a really funny piece of advice coming from me. Because honestly, given my love of routine, I sometimes think I was a cat in a former life. But seriously, I've come to realize that change is good. It's really good. We grow up, we move, we meet new people, we learn new things. And each event, Each person we encounter changes us, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in bigger ways, sometimes in ways you may not recognize for years. Everything you've done in your life has led to this moment, right here, right now, has led you to become the newest member of the Juniata community, sitting here in Rosenberger Auditorium, ready to embark on the next big adventure in life. You're excited, maybe a little nervous, but I'm betting most of you haven't thought about how this experience and how the people sitting next to you might change you. Periodically taking time to slow down your breath and to be fully present in the moment will allow you to be more open to the possibilities of what these experiences and people have to offer. Everything you do during your 4 years at Juniata, study abroad, internship, work-study positions, capstone experiences, participating in storming of the Arch, Mountain Day, tenting for Madrigal tickets, even pig roast, and all of the myriad of other wonderful Juniata traditions will shape you into the men and women who will leave campus to go on to do amazing things. So instead of passively letting change happen, embrace it, seek it out, experiment, try new things. Are you coming to Juniata as a student who excelled in physics and chemistry in high school? Take a ceramics class or a theater class. Who knows? You might find that you love the arts. But I mean, really, who wouldn't love the arts? The art department here is fantastic. Does everyone back home know you as a star athlete? Well, why not make a name for yourself by getting involved in community service, participating in service learning opportunities, or who knows, making the next big discovery in an applied archaeology class at the field station. Perhaps you'll find a passion for something you didn't even know existed. The beauty of a liberal arts education is that you have the opportunity to try a lot of different things. In choosing Juniata, you bought into the idea of the liberal arts, so don't complain about that dreaded Q requirement. Sorry, John. Embrace that math class, be present in the classroom, breathe through the stress of studying for exams, and be open to receive the lessons you'll learn from your peers and professors. When we finish this ceremony today, you'll process out of the auditorium with your classmates, ready to continue on this exciting journey of college. And as you do so, I invite you to remember, be present and breathe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Streb. I'm feeling a lot mellower now. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the president of your student, I'm feeling too mellow apparently. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the president of your student government, who will also welcome you as the class of 2018. Kunal Atit is a junior from North Wales, Pennsylvania. He is currently pursuing a program of emphasis in public policy and communication. And to my delight, you should now have a background in the study of politics. He currently aspires to a career in the political realm. In addition to being politically active and involved at Juniata, Kunal's political engagement beyond the campus has included serving as a congressional aide and campaign strategist for U.S. Representative Allison Snyder. And this past summer, Kunal worked on the campaign of Jack Hansen for the Pennsylvania Senate. A few years ago, when Kunal was an entering freshman, like many of you today, his orientation advisors described him as genuinely interested in what his experience at Juniata will be like and eager to learn more about extracurricular activities. One of his advisors noted, Kunal asked great questions and was interested in both classes and activities, including how to become a class officer. On the freshman advising questionnaire, Kunal was asked, what are you looking forward to in coming to Juniata College? And his response was, everything. I sat with him last night during that stellar presentation Dean Clarkson provided on the history of Juniata, and when it was over, with all sincerity and spontaneously, he looked at me and said, you know, this is such a special place. He embodies it. I've been here 2 months. I've come to appreciate it from working with students like Kunal, how special Juniata is. When he was asked then what higher education and a college degree might do for him, he responded, I want a chance to make a mark on the world. And I suspect he will. He already has. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the 2014-15 President of Student Government, Kunal Ateek.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen, for that kind introduction. At the end of last year, my sister received her PhD. My parents traveled to Philadelphia to view her defense. And at its conclusion, after it was official that she had been successful, they called to give me the news. I spoke to my sister and congratulated her on what was a remarkable accomplishment. And then I spoke to my mother and congratulated her as well. See, in the weeks leading up, I had been contemplating how tremendous this moment was, not only for my sister, but for my parents, especially my mother. My mother was born in Bombay, India, to a middle-class family. But at only the age of 2, her father passed away. If not for the hard work of her 2 elder brothers, she could have easily fell into breathtaking poverty. But while the family managed to stay afloat, my mother grew up in a one-room apartment, no bigger than the average kitchen, sharing the space with 8 other individuals. It was through fortunate circumstances that my mother would go on to marry my father, and eventually the 2 would emigrate to North Wales, Pennsylvania, where they would raise my sister and I. However, if someone were to have looked at the circumstances surrounding my mother's childhood, they would have never guessed that 2-year-old girl, who would only go on to receive the equivalent of a 10th grade education, would eventually raise a daughter who would achieve the highest level of academic accomplishment. I share this with you because while that story may prove to be unique at most places, at Juniata, it is not. Juniata's halls are populated by both faculty and students who were and will be the first members of their families to receive a college degree. Many, the first to have attended college at all. And this is no accident. 138 years ago, a small band of brethren pastors sought to establish a place of learning hidden away in the mountains, next to what would prove to be its namesake, the Juniata River. They endeavored to create a place where individuals could better themselves, and afterwards use the tools they would come to possess, not only for their own advantage, but to the benefit of their communities as well. What would begin as a single building with only 1 full-time faculty member serving 4 students would over the course of time grow to become one of the preeminent schools in the country. Throughout that evolution, however, the original mission for which this institution was created, to equip its students with the knowledge to effect real change upon the world around them, and to embed a desire within them to use that power for good, has never been lost. On the contrary, that very spirit has served as the fuel for its progress. Juniata today remains what its founders intended it to be, a city upon a hill. A place that through both its students as well as its own story proves that no matter how humble one's beginnings, provided the right environment, there is no limit to the amount of potential that can be unleashed. A community with an unimpeachable faith in the idea that personal success need not come at the expense of others, but rather that we reach far greater heights when we build upon the strengths of those around us. The story of Juniata is unmistakably one of progress. And it is those of us in this room who are the inheritors of that legacy. But with that inheritance, we find responsibility. Our founders envisioned that each successive generation that came to this place would leave a better Juniata than the one they found, so that those who would succeed them would be given the opportunity to reach heights that they never would themselves. And this is where we find our charge. As each successive generation is expected to build upon the past, it is now your turn to be the greatest class in this institution's proud history. We will have help from both faculty and upperclassmen along the way. And one day, one of you will stand on this stage passing the mantle to those who will succeed you. Juniata welcomes you, class of 2018, and we look forward to see what unimaginable possibilities you make a reality.
Thank you, Kanal, for your welcome to the class of 2018. Before concluding Opening Convocation, I would like to take a moment to thank the many people who assisted in preparing for this event. Thanks also to those listed on the program for their help and participation. And I especially want to recognize your faculty, whose hard work and dedication to students make Juniata special. So let's give them one more round of applause. After the benediction, the platform party and the faculty will recess. Students, please stay in place until the faculty marshal returns to lead you out. It is now my pleasure to call on Adam Weaver, class of 2015, who will lead us in singing the alma mater. Remember, we all practiced it a few times last night? Okay. After the alma mater, please remain standing for the benediction and the recessional. Adam.
It's time now to go forth. So take a deep breath with me. It is our prayer that, having been fully present in this hour, should help you be ready for what lies ahead in the year ahead of us all. So may you go forth now. Go forth as members of the Juniata College community. Go forth with the strength and the conviction to live a balanced life in the year ahead, taking time to take those deep breaths and be present in addition to accomplishing the goals you have in mind. Go forth with the creative heart of an artist and the questioning mind of a scientist. And never forget to hang on to your sense of humor, for it lends perspective and it connects us to one another when used gently. And go touched by divine wisdom to use the explosion of knowledge ahead of you with integrity, with justice, and with a genuine, loving concern for all. For then you will truly be preparing yourself to make a difference in our world. Amen.